All right, guys. Thank you for joining Far Realm Rollers. We're going to do a informal, stripped down, just for fun introduction for my kids into D&D. Family friendly. If you want to watch, this will just be a brief us hanging out. Rolling just a D20, adding some modifiers. I'm going to be using Lions Den's Fight Club app for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And I have a couple of pre-made characters that I've never run or that are in my campaign that I run with the Mystic Biscuits within the Dessarian Valley that I might introduce them as NPCs. I'm going to take those that's going to be my barometer, my little scaling towards of how my children's modifiers are going to be added depending on what class they choose. So, this is Asher, and this is my son Broden. They are twins. They're going to tell us what they want to be. So, guys, what kind of character do you want to play? So, we're going to choose a class. We're just going to choose a class, and we're going to assume you are just humans. So, let's go straight to classes. We'll page 45. All right, we'll start with you, Asher. What kind of hero do you want to be? You want to be a savage barbarian fighter who can basically be a tank. He can get out front and take a lot of damage. Feral instinct. Sometimes he knows, the presence of danger, and when he isn't surprised in combat, he can act first and things like that. Or he's very intimidating. He scares people just with his presence alone. Or do you want to be a bard, somebody who is very inspirational with music? He strums musical instruments and teaches people how to feel based on the music he introduces into a setting and injects into a scenario. He can convince people to do what he wants them to do, or save his party by teleporting them to some other place, or inspire them so that their acts are more heroic or valiant. Or would you rather be a cleric, someone who suffuses all of his actions with divine energy from a patron or a deity that can heal people that are on the brink of death? So say you meet an enemy barbarian and you're a cleric, and one of your teammates, Broden, is about to be slain. You could come to him and do a lay on hands spell, which means you just touch him and you magically, divinely inject him with more life force. You can be one of those guys to heal people. Or you could be a druid. And what a druid is someone who is in tune with nature. And animals. And that means that you can spontaneously produce plant life or speak to plants. If you like flowers, you could go outside, walk through a grassy field, a flowery field, and speak to the plants or speak to the tree and ask it what it can see from its canopy. Or you can speak to animals. So there's all kinds of. See, she has an animal companion. It's a tiger.
And he could worship with that.
Or you could be a fighter, someone who is trained and adept in martial arts and is very tactful on the battlefield. So someone who fights. Would you rather be a barbarian, a cleric, a druid, a fighter, or a monk like Liu Kang on your Mortal Kombat game? Remember Liu Kang?
Yeah.
He's a monk. So is Kung Lao, the guy with the hat. That's a monk. They channel the energy of their essence and their being, their life force, into abilities. They're very stoic, very determined, very patient. Would you like to be? And they can balance on ropes, run straight up walls vertically. there's a cliff face or whatever, and you can't, you can run up it just as fast as somebody else can climb it until you get a handhold. That's pretty cool. Or you could run straight up a tree. Or would you rather be a paladin? Someone who is very heavily armored and also has healing magic, just like the cleric, but he can fight as well, so he's a tank. You want to be a paladin or a monk, or would you like to be a ranger, someone who shoots far away with bows?
I want to be a ranger.
You want to be a ranger so that you're away from danger and you can fight at long range, from cover and things like that? Yeah. Okay, so we are decided. Asher is going to be a ranger. All right, good choice. Brody, what do you want to be? You have all the choices you heard Asher select from. You can be a barbarian.
I know all of them.
You can be a cleric.
I know.
You can be a druid.
I know all of them.
You can be a paladin.
I know.
You can be a ranger as well. I wasn't done yet, though. Asher just found the one he liked. You could be a ranger, but there's still some more. After ranger, there are rogues. Those are sneaky people. They like to throw their hood up.
And
throw daggers. And they prefer to use the cover of night and shadows to skulk around and eliminate their targets in secret. Sometimes they break into homes with lock-picking tools called thieves' kits. And they're very cunning and sneaky, and they can detect traps. They're very intuitive, so they can find and suss out traps and information, and they can talk to other people that have those skills in their wheelhouse called thieves' can't. So they can leave cryptic secret messages to other people who use those kind of tactics. So that's a rogue. You could be a rogue if you want to.
I want to be a healer guy.
A healer guy? You want to be a cleric?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So we are decided. We have Asher the ranger and Broden the cleric. So.
Look, I made a diamond.
You made a diamond. So what we are going to do.
Let's try to save time.
Yeah. Bring up an image for my children that I will fix it in post so that you guys can see it. Really, I'm just doing the video feed so that I've got my OBS up, Open Broadcast Studio. I don't have my camera with me. I'm just using the webcam on my laptop. But really, all I'm trying to do is just capture the audio. So I'm going to dress it up as best I can to give you guys something nice to see in post. But what I'm doing now is I'm working to give my children some images to accompany with their plays. So,
it's going to be a clever.
There we go.
It's going to be a clever. Hey, Daddy?
Yes, sir.
Can I heal myself?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
Pretty cool, isn't it? Okay. And Asher, this one is you.
I'm a ranger. Yeah, ranger.
That's right.
Broden
Asher. Okay, guys.
Dad, which color am I?
You like color brown or green?
I like what color.
Earth tone.
I want to be black. Oh, black.
Brown ranger. Okay. We are choosing earth tones. You can be a brown ranger with leather armor. Like it?
Yeah.
Okay. The most important thing for tonight's session. D20. Okay.
Oh, so it has 20 sides?
Yep, it's got 20 sides. That's exactly right. So, I'll place it right here. Anytime you guys get a turn, pick it up, roll a D20. So, we start our session. In the year. It is. Let's say it is 15. 1517 DR. That means Dale Reckoning. It's called Dale Reckoning calendar. Peace has been prevalent in the Forgotten Realms for quite some time. But danger looms on the horizon. Clerics.
Did I say this time?
This is the part of the storytelling where I give you the scenario. I set up the adventure for you. So if you talk, you'll miss something very important. You can only act on things you know. You can't practice what you don't know, and you know in vain what you don't practice. So we gotta play quiet mouse on your end until you get your turn to hop in the conversation. Okay? So 1517, I believe is what I said. DR. Clerics, devout men and women of the church, have conversed with acolytes, other practitioners of magic and in their own faith, and it's begun to seep into and be in circulation among peoples some of their findings. That, whether for relief for those whom the deceased are survived by, or whatever the case, in some scenarios, they have begun to speak with the dead, or try to commune with those that have passed. And in doing so, they have found that in the past decade or so, no one is able to pass on to Elysium, or any of the, I believe it's in the cosmology or the world tree or the wheel, the world wheel. No one is able to pass to a well-aligned plane. Mount Celestia and Elysium, they are all shut off to those people. And so for the sake of brevity and making the world layout easy for you guys, all such existences and planes of having passed are up Mount Celestia. They have told the clerics and the diviners, followers of Savras, any such people to whom they can commune and connect with, that Mount Celestia, along each sides, 4 sides, is seeping, bursting forth with a geyser of elemental energy. So I'll give you guys a picture. All right, guys, check out the map. So what we see here, we see a sea of fire and the plane of air. It's all air here, fire, the plane of water with the sea of worlds, the sea of ice, the silt flats, and the plane of earth. So you have water, earth, fire, and air. And up Mount Celestia.
Are those all elements?
Yes, they are all the elements. Very good question. Up Mount Celestia, along all 4 sides in the compass directions, in the plane of fire, molten magma is pouring down the mountain so that no one can even ascend and reach the gates to ask the angels and make petitions for them. Along the other side, water gushes down the mountain so that it is impassable. You cannot traverse up the mountain. Funnels of air forcefully push everyone down, literally from one side of another. Smoke, vapor of smoke or ice along there. On the side, along the
sounds so good.
Eastern side of Mount Celestia, mud and mucky, swampy, things are gushing down the mountain. So, I believe I illustrated my point. The mountain cannot be scaled. Now, at this point, I'll take questions, but only when I ask for questions can you ask questions. Go ahead, Ashley. What you got? What kind of magic do you have? You have magic derived from nature and some other things. You don't have an element. You're climbing a mountain that all the elements are pouring down the mountain. So, Broden, what do you have? What's your question?
Well, I want to. Does upper mean someone can pick up a block, a floor, a ground? Is that element?
An element is water, earth, fire, and air. Things that make up the prime material plane is what elements are. So, okay. And so we start our adventure with the ranger, Axel.
Like this from one of Axel's stories?
He's out in the woods when a tree splinters open and a fey creature steps out. It is Give me one moment and I will find it for you.
I hope it's not a scowly boy.
I misspoke. It is not 289. Let me check. It may be Fey, or it may be Fey adjacent. But what you see is a giant, living tree. A tree ant.
A sweet giant?
A tree splinters open that was obfuscating the tree ant's path. He rips it apart. Birds scatter into the open air. You're taken aback. You jump, wheel on your feet, and pull out your arrow. What do? Here's your D20. What do you want to do? You want to talk to him and ask him what his business here is? Do you want to attack him? Or do you want to hide?
I want to attack him.
You want to attack him? Okay, roll inside here. You got...
I got one.
You got a 10. Let me see if you have anything to add. If I have any rangers in here. I believe I have Artemis's player sheet in here. So we're going to assume her stats. Inventory. Let's see what she has. Sit down, please, sir. Okay, so we're just going to roughly say proficiency plus attack. Let me see. 4 plus 2. Yep, you hit with a 16, son. And his armor class, if you'll see this number here, what number is that? 16! You hit him. So you wheel on your feet, pull out your arrow, splits a path straight to it. The arrow folds back into the place where the arrow had just carved through, and it fires, and he hits true. It stabs in the tree. Hold on, I'm talking, please. So he speaks to me, calling, "Cease fire." Big, huge, tall tree, booming voice, echoing down to you. "Please, I come bearing a message." You do.
Fight him.
You're gonna fight him? He said he has a message for you. Are you sure you want to fight him?
No, I want to shoot him with the arrow.
Do you want to shoot him again? Or do you want to stand down and listen to what he has to say? Or do you want to run because he's so much bigger than you? You're about 5'11", and he is a towering tree. He's about 20 feet tall. Longer, maybe.
I'm gonna say run.
You want to run away?
Yeah.
As you start running, your speed is 30. So he starts running behind you. Well, you jump over a fallen tree, a duck slide under another, pushing brush, branches, debris out of your way, and he's trampling all over all this stuff approaching you. And so he's on your trail. He says,
I mean you no harm. And then
leans down. The tree is coming down on you, and boom, he slams an arm in front of you and rakes it back towards him and pulls you to himself. You want to try to dodge out of the way, or you want to let it happen?
Okay.
What do you want to do? You want to dodge or let it happen?
I'm gonna roll it.
Okay, you got a 5. And with that dexterity saving throw, that's not enough. He rakes you in, grapples you to himself. So roll one more for me, a strength check. Contested strength check. So you got a
16.
It was a 12. It rolled again when I pushed it. So you got a 12 plus 3. You got a 15. So let's roll his strength. With a natural 4 plus 6. You beat him. And so his arm is composed of branches intertwining. And so you find a spot in between there small enough for you to fit through. And you duck out of his arm and jump to the ground. We're going to take a quick break. Okay. And so you get out of the way and you run to the nearest town. And in there, you find Broly, a member of the church, a cleric, who has just spoken with the leader of his faith. He told you to be looking for signs and wonders, that at this time miraculous things will happen, that the first step you take will reveal the next step. And just as you said that, you walk out the door as Axel's coming in the door, and he slams into you, Broly, and you roll on the ground. Y'all both tumble together, tangled up. What do you say to him? What do you say to Broly? This guy right here, whom you've never met before. What do you say to him?
I'm gonna say...
You want to tell him about the tree that was chasing you? Do you want to say, hide and take shelter? Danger approaches the town? What do you want to say to him?
I'm gonna say about a tree.
What do you say? Tell him.
That it is almost stepping on me.
There's a giant tree approaching the village. He nearly crushed me. What do you say?
I'm saying?
You say, I'll save you?
Yeah.
You say, get behind me. You pull out your shield and hoist your battle hammer and slam it down in front. Axel, you take a knee right behind him, high enough that you can see over his shield, and you pose, get poised and draw, knock your arrow back so you're ready in case it breaks the tree line. You can see the canopy of the trees in the village shaking, birds flying out. But as it gets to the edge of the tree line, everything stops and it's settled. Nothing happens. What do you guys do? Broly, what do you do?
I say...
You do what? You've already got him safe. He's behind you. He has full cover behind you. What do you do now?
I run.
You run. Which way? You run back into the building, or you run to the trees where the tree come from?
I run to right.
You run to the right? Okay, so you go deeper into town. Where are you running to? What's your trigger? What makes you stop or do something different?
I love food slicing.
And anything, if you see anything giant, you stop, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just run around town, checking the perimeter. Axel, what are you doing?
I'm going to run away.
Do you run behind him and follow him, or you run somewhere different?
I go and
Somewhere
left.
He ran right and you run left. Okay, so you each make a sweeping perimeter of the village. You run around, you're trying to corroborate his story. You get frustrated. You throw your hammer down and put your shield on your back. You say,
"What's the meaning of this? I could find nothing factual about your claims." that what you say?
To him? Or do you say, okay, that's what you say? How do you respond? Asher, he's calling you a storyteller. What do you say?
I said, run away from him and faster than kill him.
Run away faster and will attempt to kill him. So, you say, live to fight another day. Danger is encroaching upon the village. You must try to kill it. Okay, and so,
I think it's time.
birds that have been released from the trees are circling about, and they fly back to the tree. Emissaries of a dryad, I believe. Dryad, yes. I was confused. Dryad, dryad. A dryad that flies back. There's a fey spirit sitting on the branch of this tree. And it flies over there to the tree, and birds communicate to the dryad, who in turn communicates to the tree. It strides into the village and said,
Commoners, dwellers of Red Lodge, I mean you no harm. I bring news of Mount Celestia. The denizens of the Feywild have spared no time in giving you this message as in the most expedient manner. Help is needed to heal the rifts of the elemental planes.
That's me.
Will you answer the call to arms and stop this terrible occurrence so that the dearly departed can find rest?
what do you say? He's asking you if you want to be heroes and stop a grave injustice from happening, as no one is able to reach their proper destination when their bodies are laid to the ground, their soul finds rest in Hades, or they're twisted and tormented as specters and spirits because they cannot find rest. What do you guys say?
I'll say be a hero. I'll say be a hero.
You choose to be a hero. And so, the tree ant reaches down his throat, pulls out a enormous hilt, pulls it down. Nothing. There's no blade to this hilt. It's odd. You've never seen anything like this. It's just a blank, nothing of a blade. It's just the hilt. And you say, Axel,
Where is the naked steel to that weapon? I cannot use the hilt. Moreover, I'm a ranger. I fight with accuracy and what is the meaning of this?
and he says,
This hilt is taken from the world tree. Its roots span the entirety of the prime material plane. The bones of the earth are forged and crafted into this hilt. But just as bones can have spurs, and he squeezes the hilt and grabs it and wrings it tightly between his hands,
shatters it into two pieces. That's it. Splinters it. But just as it splinters, it comes together with the two different ends, and he hands you each a hilt. And you both have a piece that can be forged or made into a sword. Whoa. Okay. So,
Yes, my turn
As
was
as he says that, guys, yeah. Broden. He tells you that you will have to go to. Give me 1 second. Let me find it for you. He says you will have to go. There's your map. He says you will have to traverse.
I don't know why we didn't have a.
He says you'll have to pass through the Desert Valley, most likely traveling through the long road up to Baylard, and from there, making a dangerous journey on an uncharted path into the high forest. Now, there's a lot of elves in the high forest.
Should I have force out?
Yeah. So, Broly, make me a survival check. Axel, you going to help him?
Yeah.
That means you can roll twice and take the bigger number. Excuse me. That's called rolling with advantage. So you got a 14. Roll it one more time. Roll it one more time. Roll it. Don't just put it down. Roll it. 14 and 12. So 14 plus...
12.
No, hold on. Let's see. I have a paladin as the closest thing to a cleric, so we're going to use his survival check. Let's see here. 14 plus 2. So you get a 16. So you determine the correct direction. So you're walking through the high forest. You see some, what do they call some? Let's pull out the bestiary. Analyze the impact of that. Hold on. You encounter some.
I'm going to go to the party.
Okay, we'll take a short break while you go potty. I'll look for the enemy.
The enemy?
Yeah, the enemy.
I want to see an enemy.
You see some badgers, some tiny beasts in the wood. You want to roll attack it and try to have some gamey meat, some food out here from killing this badger?
I want to give it to what?
We'll roll and see if you hit.
Okay, what?
You see the badger a good ways off. You notch your arrow, roll to hit. You got a 12 plus your attack bonus, which I believe is 6, so 18. Pull the bow back. How do you? No, you don't get advantage. You only get one. All right. So, in what way would you like the arrow to strike? How do you describe this in detail?
I will shoot this tree with it.
Shoot it into a tree?
Yeah.
So it's scurrying across the woods.
And what more thing I'm going to do to it? And what thing I'm going to do to it? Some fire.
Pull back the arrow. Sails through the air. Boom! Pins it to a tree. Now, you walk over there and you're ready to set on fire. You set up camp, log over the campfire, and turning it over the campfire, cooking and roasting this food as the sun sets. Asher you got something to eat. He killed a badger for you. So, making your way through the high forest, the tree didn't tell you where to go.
Yeah.
The dryad didn't tell you where to go.
Yeah,
He told you to go here, but no further. Bro, you have a connection to someone on the other side of the...
Force?
No. Of the, what is it called? Divine Gate. And so, you begin to call upon your deity. Roll persuasion. Try to convince your God to give you some kind of direction as to where to go. 10 plus, let's see what we have here for you. 10 plus 3. 13. As you're praying, please, dear, give me some direction. I'm lost. I'm wayward. You know the way in which I should go. Many paths lay before my feet. I just ask that the path that we're supposed to take would shine ever brighter unto the day of the completion of the task that you ask of us. And so as you're looking around, you don't feel anybody ready to answer you. But wind carries a bunch of leaves down a particular path, and it's telling you to go northeast. So you start traveling towards Star Mountains. And that's where we'll end tonight.
I'm toast.
Because you have a journey up Star Mountain. And there's something waiting for Axel and Broly at the top of the mountain. The end.
Yeah.
The end for tonight. Good job.